Chet Hanks has never been one to hold back, but his latest revelations about his father, Tom Hanks, have left fans shocked. For years, Tom Hanks has been seen as the ultimate father figure, both on and off the screen. But Chet's words hint at something far more complicated, something that doesn't quite match the public image of the beloved actor. What exactly did he say? Join us as we uncover the story that has everyone asking, is there more to Tom Hanks than we thought? First, let's take a look at who Tom Hanks is and the life that has shaped him into America's favorite actor. Tom Hanks' troubling early life. Tom Hanks was born Thomas Jeffrey Hanks on July 9, 1956, in Concord, California. From the start, his life was far from settled. His parents, Amos Mefford Hanks and Janet Marilyn Frager, divorced when he was just 5 years old. This had a big impact on his childhood, shaping much of his early experiences. After the separation, Tom primarily lived with his father, who worked as a cook, while his mother took custody of his younger brother. Because of his father's job, Tom and his siblings moved around a lot. By the time he was a teenager, he had lived in 10 different homes. This constant moving made it difficult for him to form long-lasting friendships, and he often found himself as the new kid in school. While some children might have struggled to adjust, Tom learned to observe people carefully, a skill that would later help him in acting. Growing up, Tom's family life was not always easy. His father was hardworking but often distant, and his mother had her own struggles. Their financial situation was modest, and there was little stability in his home life. However, he had 3 siblings, Sandra, Larry, and Jim, and despite their chaotic upbringing, they remained close. His younger brother, Jim Hanks, would later follow in his footsteps and also become an actor. Tom was an ordinary kid in many ways, but he had a deep love for movies. He enjoyed watching films, and he admired how actors could transform into different people on screen. This fascination with acting started early, but at the time, he had no idea it would one day become his career. Although Tom Hanks is known today for his warm and outgoing personality, he was actually a very shy child. He struggled with social interactions and often felt awkward in new environments. However, he had one secret weapon: his sense of humor. Even though he wasn't the most popular kid in school, his ability to make people laugh helped him fit in. He was also deeply curious about the world. He loved learning about history, people, and different cultures. He read a lot and was naturally drawn to storytelling. These interests, combined with his observant nature, would later serve him well as an actor. In high school, Tom started exploring acting. He joined the school's drama program, where he discovered that being on stage made him feel alive. Acting gave him confidence and allowed him to express himself in a way he never had before. After graduating from Skyline High School in Oakland, California, he decided to study theater in college. He enrolled at Chabot College, a community college in Hayward, before transferring to California State University, Sacramento. While there, he continued to develop his acting skills and participated in local theater productions. However, Tom didn't finish his degree. He was eager to gain real-world experience, so he dropped out of college and decided to focus on acting full-time. He took a big risk, but it turned out to be the right decision. While still in college, Tom got the chance to work behind the scenes at a local theater. He volunteered at the Great Lakes Theater Festival in Cleveland, Ohio, where he learned about every aspect of stage production. He spent 3 years there, gaining valuable experience and improving his craft. This hands-on training proved to be far more valuable than anything he could have learned in a classroom. By the time he left, he knew that acting was his true calling. He packed his bags and moved to New York City in the late 1970s, hoping to make it as an actor. He had no idea what was ahead, but he was ready to chase his dream. Path to acting. By the late 1970s, Tom Hanks knew he wanted to be an actor. He had spent years learning about theater, working behind the scenes, and performing in plays. But if he wanted a real shot at making it big, he had to go where the opportunities were. So, he packed his bags and moved to New York City to chase his dream. At first, life in New York wasn't easy. He struggled to find steady work and took whatever small acting jobs he could get. But he was determined. He auditioned for plays, met people in the theater world, and slowly started making a name for himself. His passion for acting led him to perform in Shakespearean plays, where he developed strong stage skills. Even though he wasn't famous yet, these performances helped him grow as an actor. Tom's big break came in 1980 when he landed a lead role in the TV sitcom Bosom Buddies. The show followed two young men who dressed as women to live in an affordable women-only apartment complex. It was a wild and funny concept, and Tom's natural comedic timing made him stand out. Although the show only lasted 2 seasons, it was an important stepping stone. It gave Tom a chance to show off his charm and humor, and people in Hollywood started noticing him. More TV opportunities followed, and he appeared in guest roles on shows like Happy Days and Family Ties. While working in television, Tom also auditioned for movies. He landed a few small roles, but his true breakthrough came in 1984 when he starred in Splash. This romantic comedy, directed by Ron Howard, told the story of a man who falls in love with a mermaid, played by Daryl Hannah. The film was a huge success and introduced Tom Hanks to a much wider audience. His natural charm and likability made him a perfect fit for romantic comedies, and suddenly Hollywood saw him as a leading man. America's favorite actor. After the success of Splash, Tom Hanks became a familiar face in Hollywood. He starred in a mix of comedies, including Bachelor Party and The Money Pit, but it was Big that truly made him a star. In Big, Tom played a 12-year-old boy who magically wakes up in an adult's body. His performance was funny, heartwarming, and full of energy. Audiences loved it, and critics praised him for bringing both humor and depth to the role. The film was a huge box office success, and Tom earned his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Suddenly, he wasn't just a comedy actor, he was a bankable leading man. As the 1990s began, Tom wanted to prove he could do more than just comedy. He started taking on deeper, more dramatic roles. In A League of Their Own, he played a washed-up baseball player coaching a women's team during World War II. His famous line, "There's no crying in baseball," became iconic. In 1993, he starred in 2 career-defining films. Sleepless in Seattle, a romantic comedy with Meg Ryan, became one of the most beloved love stories of all time. But it was Philadelphia that showed just how talented he really was. In the film, he played a lawyer diagnosed with AIDS who fights against workplace discrimination. It was an emotional, powerful performance, and Tom won his first Academy Award for Best Actor. Then came Forrest Gump. The film, which followed a simple man through decades of American history, was a cultural phenomenon. Lines like "Life is like a box of chocolates" became instantly famous. The film won Best Picture, and Tom won his second consecutive Oscar, making him one of the few actors in history to achieve that. Tom continued dominating the 1990s with a string of blockbuster films. In Apollo 13, he played astronaut Jim Lovell in the true story of NASA's near-disaster mission. The film was both thrilling and inspiring. That same year, he voiced Woody in Toy Story, the first-ever fully computer-animated film by Pixar. Woody became one of the most beloved animated characters ever, and the Toy Story franchise would go on to last for decades. In Saving Private Ryan, Tom delivered one of his most intense performances as a World War II captain leading a dangerous mission. The film, directed by Steven Spielberg, was praised for its realistic battle scenes and emotional depth. To close out the decade, Tom starred in The Green Mile, a powerful drama set on death row. Once again, he delivered a moving and unforgettable performance. As the 2000s began, Tom showed no signs of slowing down. In Cast Away, he played a man stranded alone on an island. He lost over 50 pounds for the role, and his performance was so powerful that he earned another Oscar nomination. Tom continued to take on powerful roles in the 2010s, often portraying real-life figures. In Captain Phillips, he played a cargo ship captain taken hostage by Somali pirates. His emotional final scene in the film was widely praised. Meanwhile, he continued voicing Woody in Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4, both of which were massive successes. Even after decades in Hollywood, Tom continued taking on exciting roles. In Elvis, he played Colonel Tom Parker, the controversial manager of Elvis Presley. In A Man Called Otto, he played a grumpy but lovable widower. With each new role, Tom Hanks proves why he remains one of the greatest actors of all time. Marriage with Samantha Lewis. Before he became a Hollywood superstar, Tom Hanks was just a young man trying to find his way in life. In 1978, at the age of 22, he married Samantha Lewis, an actress and producer. At the time, Tom was still struggling to establish his career, and money was tight. The couple welcomed their first child, Colin Hanks, in 1977, a year before they got married. Their daughter, Elizabeth Hanks, was born in 1982. Being a young husband and father, while also trying to make it as an actor, wasn't easy. Tom has often spoken about how he felt a deep responsibility to provide for his family, even when times were tough. He worked hard to build his career, taking whatever acting jobs he could find to support Samantha and their children. However, as Tom's career started to take off in the early 1980s, his marriage began to suffer. The demands of Hollywood, along with personal differences, created distance between him and Samantha. By 1987, after nearly a decade together, the couple divorced. Going through a divorce was painful for Tom. He has described it as one of the most difficult times in his life. He felt guilt, sadness, and a deep sense of failure, especially because he knew how much it would impact Colin and Elizabeth. Despite their separation, Tom and Samantha remained committed to co-parenting their children. He stayed actively involved in their lives, making sure they always felt loved and supported. Colin Hanks, following in his father's footsteps, became an actor and has appeared in several films and TV shows. Elizabeth Hanks pursued a career in writing and publishing. Tom has often credited this difficult period for teaching him valuable lessons about love, relationships, and personal growth. While it was a tough chapter in his life, it also shaped him into the man he would become. But love wasn't over for Tom. Soon after his divorce, he met someone who would change his life forever. Up next, we'll talk about his love story with Rita Wilson. Rita Wilson. After his painful divorce from Samantha Lewis, Tom Hanks wasn't sure if he would find love again, but that changed when he met Rita Wilson, the woman who would become his lifelong partner. Tom and Rita first crossed paths in 1981 when Rita guest starred on an episode of Bosom Buddies, the sitcom Tom was starring in at the time. Although they had instant chemistry, Tom was still married, so their connection remained professional. However, a few years later, fate brought them back together when they both starred in the movie Volunteers. This time, their bond deepened, and they fell in love. By 1988, after Tom's divorce was finalized, he and Rita got married. From that moment on, they became one of Hollywood's strongest and most enduring couples. While many celebrity relationships struggle under the pressure of fame, Tom and Rita's marriage has stood the test of time. They have always supported each other through the ups and downs of life, proving that true love can last, even in Hollywood. After their wedding, Tom and Rita built a happy family together. They welcomed their first son, Chet Hanks, in 1990, followed by their second son, Truman Hanks, in 1995. Chet grew up to become an actor and musician, appearing in shows like Empire and Shameless. He has been open about his personal struggles, including battling addiction, but Tom and Rita have always stood by him. Truman, on the other hand, has stayed mostly out of the spotlight, working behind the scenes in film production. Family has always been Tom's top priority. Despite his busy career, he has made sure to be present in his children's lives. He once said that being a good father is the most important role he has ever played, and that belief has shaped many of his career choices. Tom Hanks is a man of deep personal values. Raised with both Catholic and Mormon influences, he eventually converted to Greek Orthodox Christianity after marrying Rita, who is of Greek heritage. His faith has played a big role in his life, grounding him in times of difficulty and guiding his decisions. His strong family values also influence the types of roles he chooses. Tom has often said that he wants to make movies that his children, and now his grandchildren, can be proud of. That's one of the reasons he has taken on roles that celebrate kindness, courage, and perseverance, such as Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan, and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Through all his success, Tom remains a devoted husband, a loving father, and a man who never forgets what truly matters. The weight of a famous last name. Growing up as the son of Tom Hanks, one of the most respected actors in Hollywood, might sound like a dream. Chet Hanks was born into a world of wealth, luxury, and endless opportunities. But according to him, the reality was far more complicated. Instead of feeling special or privileged, he often felt lost, misunderstood, and even worthless. From the outside, it seemed like he had everything. His father was a beloved movie star. His mother, Rita Wilson, was a successful actress and musician. And their family had access to the best of everything: travel, education, and connections. People assumed that being a Hanks automatically meant an easy life. But Chet has made it clear that despite all the advantages, growing up in his father's shadow was mentally and emotionally exhausting. He has spoken openly about the struggles of being Tom Hanks's son. In interviews, he admitted that instead of feeling like he was the man, he actually felt like he was completely worthless. He said that people would either treat him like he was better than them because of his last name, or resent him for it. He wasn't given the chance to just be a normal kid. His identity was tied to his father from the start. The pressure of constantly being judged affected his self-esteem. If he tried to act confident, people called him arrogant. If he was quiet, they assumed he thought he was too good for them. There was no way to win. He has talked about how, as a child and teenager, he struggled with this dynamic. He just wanted to be treated like everyone else. But no matter what, people saw Tom Hanks' son before they saw Chet as a person. This constant judgment led to frustration and, eventually, rebellion. Instead of trying to fit into the image of the perfect celebrity child, Chet went in the opposite direction, pushing boundaries, partying, and making reckless decisions. He wanted to prove that he wasn't just some rich kid riding on his father's success. But in trying to escape that label, he ended up creating even more problems for himself. Chet's troubled past. Chet wasn't a wild child from the start. He described himself as a good kid for most of his childhood, but things changed as he became a teenager. He started experimenting with drugs and alcohol, sneaking out, and hanging with the wrong crowd. Smoking pot and underage drinking quickly became a regular part of his life. At first, it seemed like typical teenage rebellion, but things got out of control. His behavior became a major concern for his family. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson were worried about the direction he was headed, so they decided to take drastic action. When Chet was still a teenager, they sent him to a wilderness therapy program, hoping it would help him get back on track. Chet was sent to a program designed for troubled teens, where kids were placed in harsh outdoor environments with strict discipline. These programs claim to help kids by teaching them responsibility and independence, but many of them have since been exposed for using abusive tactics. Chet later revealed that his experience in the program was traumatic. Instead of feeling supported, he felt abandoned. He was angry at his parents for sending him away, especially to a place that he believed treated him unfairly. He described it as a painful experience that left lasting scars. He didn't see it as a lesson in discipline. He saw it as betrayal. This feeling of resentment stayed with him for years and played a big role in the choices he made later. After returning home, Chet didn't become the obedient son his parents had hoped for. In fact, his behavior got worse. The anger and resentment he felt led him further into a life of partying and substance abuse. By his early 20s, he had developed a serious drug problem. He later admitted that cocaine became his drug of choice, and he started using it regularly. He lived a fast, reckless lifestyle, partying constantly and making impulsive decisions. He spent years in a cycle of addiction, using drugs to escape his emotions, while also getting caught up in one controversy after another. Chet's reckless behavior didn't just affect him, it also caused trouble in his personal relationships. One of his biggest scandals involved a lawsuit filed against him by his ex-girlfriend, Kiana Parker. She accused him of being physically and emotionally abusive during their relationship. The legal battle that followed only added to Chet's already damaged public image. Chet also became known for making controversial statements and decisions that sparked backlash. One of the biggest examples was his attempt to launch a rap career under the name Chet Hayes. His use of African-American vernacular English and his overall persona led to accusations of cultural appropriation. Many people criticized him for trying to adopt a style and culture that wasn't his own, and it became another reason why he was often in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Another controversy came when Chet openly opposed the COVID-19 vaccine. At a time when most celebrities were encouraging people to get vaccinated, Chet took a different stance, mocking those who got the vaccine and calling it unnecessary. His comments outraged many people, and he was once again slammed for being irresponsible and out of touch. By his late 20s, Chet's life seemed like it was heading toward complete destruction. His drug addiction, legal troubles, and public controversies made him a constant source of drama. For years, he had been running from his problems, but eventually he reached a breaking point. What Chet revealed about Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks has long been seen as one of Hollywood's most beloved and respected actors. He's often called America's dad because of his warm, kind, and wholesome image. But according to his son Chet, things weren't as perfect behind closed doors. In several interviews, Chet has suggested that, despite growing up with a famous and successful father, he didn't feel like he had a strong male role model. This statement shocked many people. Tom Hanks has always appeared to be a caring and supportive father. He has spoken about the importance of family and has been married to Rita Wilson for decades, forming what seems to be a stable home. From the outside, it looked like Chet had a great support system, but Chet's experience was different. He claimed that while his father was physically present, he couldn't truly understand what Chet was going through. Chet described feeling isolated, struggling to deal with the pressures of growing up as Tom Hanks' son. He said that people either idolized him because of his last name or resented him for it. He also felt that no one, including his father, gave him the guidance he needed to handle that unique situation. Instead of teaching him how to ignore the negativity and focus on himself, Chet said he was left to figure it out on his own. However, many people found it hard to believe that Tom Hanks was anything less than a great father. Some pointed out that his other children, Colin, Elizabeth, and Truman, seem well-adjusted and successful. Colin Hanks, for example, has built a strong acting career of his own without controversy. Truman, the youngest, has stayed out of trouble and is quietly making a name for himself in the film industry. This led to public skepticism. Was Chet really the victim of bad parenting, or was he just making excuses for his mistakes? Fans weren't shy about calling Chet out. Many accused him of blaming his father instead of taking responsibility for his actions. They argued that Tom Hanks did his best as a parent, and that Chet's struggles were due to his own choices, not a lack of guidance. Chet's complicated relationship with his father is just one part of his journey. But after years of addiction and controversy, did he finally manage to turn his life around? Let's see where he stands today. Philanthropy and humanitarian work. Tom Hanks is more than just an incredible actor. He's also a man with a big heart. Throughout his life, he has used his fame and fortune to support causes that matter to him, from honoring veterans to helping those in need. Whether it's donating money, raising awareness, or personally getting involved, Tom has always been passionate about giving back. One of Tom's biggest areas of philanthropy is supporting veterans and preserving the history of World War II. His dedication to this cause started after starring in Saving Private Ryan, a film that deeply affected him. He wanted to do more than just act in a war movie. He wanted to make sure real-life soldiers were honored and remembered. Tom became heavily involved in the National World War II Museum, helping fund projects and narrating historical documentaries. He also co-produced Band of Brothers and The Pacific, two highly respected war miniseries that shed light on the bravery and sacrifice of soldiers. He frequently speaks at events for veterans and works with organizations that provide health care and support for former servicemen and women. Cancer research is another cause close to Tom's heart. In 2015, his wife, Rita Wilson, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She underwent surgery and made a full recovery, but the experience changed both of them. Since then, Tom has been a strong advocate for cancer awareness and early detection. He and Rita have donated to cancer research organizations and have helped raise millions of dollars for better treatments. Whenever a major disaster happens, Tom Hanks is one of the first celebrities to step up and help. He has donated to relief efforts after hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires, including those in Haiti, New Orleans, and California. He has also been involved in charities that fight hunger, homelessness, and medical issues. Tom is known for speaking up about issues he believes in. He has been vocal about education, environmental protection, and voting rights. He has supported political campaigns that align with his values, but has always encouraged people to form their own opinions and get involved in causes that matter to them. Despite his activism, Tom prefers to focus on unity rather than division. He believes in using his platform to spread positivity and encourage people to help one another. Chet's path to redemption. After years of reckless behavior, drug addiction, and controversy, Chet Hanks finally hit rock bottom. His life had spiraled out of control, and he knew that if he didn't make a change, things would only get worse. In 2015, he made the difficult decision to enter rehab, a choice that would ultimately help him turn his life around. Rehab wasn't easy. Chet had to face his demons head-on, admitting to himself that he had been using drugs to escape his pain. He spent months in treatment, going through intense therapy and detoxing from years of substance abuse. For the first time in a long time, he started to gain clarity. He realized that if he wanted a better future, he had to take responsibility for his actions and make real changes. A year later, in 2016, Chet's life took a major turn when he became a father. The birth of his daughter, Micaiah, forced him to mature in a way he never had before. Suddenly, it wasn't just about him anymore. He had someone else to care for. He credits his daughter with being one of the biggest reasons he stayed committed to sobriety. He knew that if he wanted to be a good father, he couldn't go back to his old ways. Along with fatherhood, Chet also found strength in his renewed faith. He has spoken openly about how reconnecting with Jesus played a huge role in his recovery. He started focusing on self-improvement, surrounding himself with more positive influences, and finding ways to channel his energy into healthier outlets. In recent years, Chet has tried to reinvent himself. He launched a personal training business, promoting fitness and wellness as a way to help others better themselves. He has also made appearances on reality TV, including The Surreal Life, where he has shared his story with a wider audience. While Chet has admitted that things were rocky in the past, he has also expressed love and appreciation for his parents. Whether their bond is fully healed remains unclear, but one thing is certain: Chet is working hard to be a better version of himself. Chet Hanks' story is complicated, and opinions about him are just as divided. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates.